Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today is the last Friday of the holy month of Ramadan. It's a day that started with Israeli troops storming Al-Aqsa Mosque, using tear gas canisters, shock grenades against dozens of Palestinian Muslim worshippers who spent the whole night inside the mosque, only to wake up in the morning at the sound of the Israeli troops storming the mosque and causing injuries for at least a few dozens of Palestinians were injured, and mostly from inhaling tear gas. This kind of unrest that has been going on for the last month of Ramadan, we're getting to the end of this month, and for a whole month, daily incursions or storming by Israeli troops of the Al-Aqsa Mosque has necessitated a very special summit meeting between Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas and Jordanian King Abdullah ibn Hussein II, in order to discuss what can be done to stop these Israeli measures against Muslims and against the Palestinians, literally all over the occupied territories, but with a very special focus on what is happening in Al-Aqsa Mosque. On Wednesday evening, late in the afternoon on Wednesday, 2 days ago, two helicopters of the Jordanian Air Force flew from Amman to Ramallah, landed in the Muqata'a, the presidential headquarters in Ramallah, and picked up President Mahmoud Abbas. Along with him was PLO Executive Committee member Hussein al-Sheikh and General Majid Faraj, the Director of the General Intelligence of Palestine. The three of them were flown to Amman, where they broke their fasting day with King Abdullah, who hosted that meal. Before and after the meals, the two leaders and their teams spoke and discussed in details what is going on in Al-Aqsa Mosque, with emphasis by both King Abdullah and President Abbas on the necessity to maintain the status quo in the holy shrines, in particularly in the old city of Jerusalem, and to stop the Israeli measures that have been targeting the status of these holy shrines, and especially Al-Aqsa Mosque, where some of the Jewish zealots claim that this is the place where the second temple used to be, and that's where they plan to build their third temple. On the political level, the discussions between the two leaders also addressed the horizon of possibly resuming any kind of a diplomatic process between Palestine and Israel, a chance that seems very, very slim these days because of the shape or the components or the composition of the incumbent government in Israel, when everybody knows that this government that the coalition is very momentarily, with only one single member of this coalition moving from the coalition into the opposition, and the government would lose the Knesset, the parliamentary majority it needs to sustain its control. So things are in limbo. But in the meantime, Israel is trying everything it can in order to change, partially at least, the status quo in the old city of Jerusalem, to show the Arab world and the whole universe that Israel is the overriding power that can decide the future of the Palestinians, the future of the Islamic holy shrines and the Christian holy shrines in Jerusalem and elsewhere. And of course, believing that because the world is busy with the Ukrainian conflict, nobody would listen to what is going on. Unfortunately, this is true in a way, to a certain extent. And the very unfortunate thing in the way that the Israeli government looks at things is that when Palestinians and the Palestinian people feel that they are being cornered, pushed into the corner by the Israeli measures, and the international public opinion doesn't care about what happens in Palestine, this is a recipe for a new round of violence, possibly, to break out between the Palestinians revolting against the Israeli occupation and the Israeli occupiers who try to impose their will on the Palestinians. This is the situation here in Palestine, 2 days before the holiday of Eid al-Fitr starts, and this is something very supposed to be preparing for celebrating their the holiday and the end of the holy month of Ramadan. they're now busy looking for ways to bring bread for their families, simply because the economic conditions in Palestine are very dire, and the government of Palestine also faces a tremendous financial pressure because the scarcity of international donor money that used to come to the PA, to the Palestinian Authority, to the state of Palestine on a monthly basis. But as of the beginning of this year, we are already entering the month of May, and from the beginning of this year until today, not a single dollar has entered the Palestinian treasury from outside donors, and this is something. This is problematic at a time when we all know that even tax revenues that Israel collects on behalf of the Palestinian Authority and transfers them to the PA in the beginning of every month have been delayed by the Israelis, and a good chunk of those revenues had been cut off by the Israelis, who claim that some of this money goes to paying salaries for families of Palestinians who either fell martyrs in clashes with the Israeli occupation or are incarcerated in Israeli jails. This is the Palestinian tragedy with which the people have been living with for so many years, for more than 50 years of Israeli military occupation of the West Bank, East Jerusalem, and Gaza Strip, and they all hope, at least now that we're drawing closer to the Al-Adha, to Al-Fitr Eid, that one day their hope for freedom will materialize sooner better than later. This is Elias Zananiri reporting live from Palestine. Happy Eid to all of you. Thank you.